My name is Tanya Curry, and this is this week's Acumen Media report. It's entitled, Ditch Eskom, South Africa is Rising. I'm often told that these reports are depressing. Yes, the news is somewhat dreadful, but remember, we read it here at Acumen so that you don't have to. However, I'm also acutely aware of my status as a Karen. So today I want to begin with good news. Eskom.
The waters.
Don't laugh. That is the good news. Scratch the edgy surface of the media with Acumen Media and me, and you'll see that I'm right. Last week I told you Eskom's load shedding schedule had missed out on stage 3 and stage 5, and I joked about a bias against odd numbers. I swear someone at Eskom is reading my posts, guys, because we were using odd numbers all week. Finally, justice for odd numbers, but my word, by the time we hit stage 5, South Africa was done. By the way, stage 5 is pretty much stage 6, bar 1 or 2 hours. That's not the good news. The good news is that finally South Africa has had enough of Eskom and its shenanigans. One story followed another after another, all of which made me proud of this nation. Sasol has moved to wind energy, and if Sasol can do it with their massive organization, more will follow. Cape Town are selling power off the grid, and even AfriForum started their own electricity company. Even the army have been deployed at some stations. Bank Zero's Michael Jordan said to stop pointing fingers at Eskom and just ditch them. Ditch Eskom. He's right. Those who can afford to, now is the time to drop Eskom like the hot coal they couldn't burn. We are done here, guys. Finally, South Africa has risen. Stage 5, keep it. We'll take our business elsewhere. You see, dear friends, it's only a matter of time before we have alternative options, providers, and solutions. And that is not good news. That is great news. Let's check in with our powerless facility. They had a whole 220-meter tall chimney collapse, blown up basically, at Kusile. This is off the back of the Kusile crisis. One farm dumped 12,000 litres of milk because it became sour, well, because of Eskom. Chickens are dying like flies as the farmers call for a state of disaster, and over 1,900 businesses are shut down. So yeah, they're doing terribly, but thank you for asking. That makes other headlines though. Most of them were about inflated debt numbers. Apparently, Tshwane owes 1.4 billion to Eskom. The credit controller should be fired, and the directors held as delinquent imbeciles, because I'm not allowed to run my business like that, and neither are you. We have a duty to keep our businesses afloat at all costs, and a debt book of that nature is simply bad leadership. I'm not telling you anything new. City Power has been turning off lights across the country, even to those with prepaid meters. There is no electricity, and you guys are cutting cables. Whatever, guys. Just ditch Eskom. If I have to pick the biggest story of the week, it has to be the DA for many reasons. Some good, some funny, and some worth an eye roll. Let's begin. The DA march about Eskom was taken to Luthuli House. That's funny. Why didn't they take it to Eskom? There was a big turnout, but imagine if those people were standing outside Megawatt Park. Then the whole of Josie would have been brought to a standstill. Well, to be fair, that corner is always at a standstill, but the impact would have been brilliant. Instead, they marched to Luthuli House and were stopped by the ANC Youth League, who then redirected them to a library a couple of streets away, because why are you at Luthuli House anyway? Electioneering, you see. I did laugh when the ANC Youth League called the DA march mischievous and misplaced. What's that saying about the pot and the kettle? Anyway, Rob Herzog, a billionaire, spoke at the rally, and he was eloquent and made sense, and it's been a long time since that happened. It went so well at the library behind the Luthuli House that Steenhuisen, formerly known as Botox John, is now called Jumping John. He was toy-toying, red in the face, and jumping around like a gummy bear. Listen, with all due respect to white people, guys, you can't toy-toy. Please stop that. You look silly. Very silly. Just march, carry a beautifully printed placard, and wear your t-shirt. Okay? You're embarrassing the rest of us. Sorry, I was banging on about this march and I got distracted by Jumping John. I have to give kudos to Cape Town. When I think Cape Town, I think DA. They're coming off the grid and selling their own power. Nice one, Cape Town. And DA took on cadre deployment as well. Another long-winded court case coming up with money that is much better spent on ditching Eskom. That's the eye roll. In other DA news, told you they've been busy, the DA-led coalition in Johannesburg has fallen apart. Falatse's Ketang, the chain of the mayoral chain, a motion of no confidence was upheld and she was told to leave the chain at the door. Literally 2 minutes later, she rose again and said she's not leaving without her Ketang. Do we need mayors? This is a serious question. Well, do we? What a massive to-do about nothing. Anyway, the short story is the coalition fell apart and we're back to Groundhog Day about something that I feel, and I may be wrong, doesn't matter at all. Let's focus on ditching Eskom. Mantashe was banging on about Turkish-owned car power ships. These are ship-mounted gas power plants. He wants their contracts shortened from 20 years to 10 to make it easier to pay them. I don't understand that sentence. I just work here. Ditch Eskom. Speaking of Uncle Gwere, Uncle Cyril is ready to take him down. Headlines hit that Ramaphosa had Mantashe in his sights for the next to be axed. It's all fun and games until you ditch Eskom, then it doesn't matter. Ramaphosa also took a swipe at Ace Magashule, saying that the new leadership in the Free State is a vast improvement. Feel that burn, Ace. The Zulu King says we shouldn't criticize Ramaphosa as he's been chosen by God. That this was his message to over 10,000 people that stood on the hill. Zuma, unimpressed, took to the stage without an invitation and called the king's words a call for war. He undermined the king. Of course, Buthelezi fixed it. May you live long, Tata Buthelezi, and may your body and mind keep strong, because, my word, we need you. The number of stories I saw about political killings and kidnappings was extraordinary, and then I read of a boy being shot 17 times. The matric pass rate was actually based on a 30% pass mark in most subjects, and the real stats showed that 38.4% of our matriculants received just over 50%. Well, it's worse than that. I'm being kind. Then Naledi Pandering was trending because of her pro-Russia narrative, and the Public Protector inquiry may call Thuli Madonsela to give evidence. That'll be worth a watch. Let's make it snappy before you get bored. Here's a story that deserves far more coverage. Yuri Roo. Basically, he took 27 million rand from Stellenbosch University and gave it to his rugby guys. Didn't tell us all, just used funny numbers. Funny numbers. The reason we got here in the first place. Lock him up, make an example of these accounting irregularities that are becoming accounting regularities. I have more bad news, though, I'm afraid. Nsake left both her music and social media due to bullying. There's an interest rate hike on the horizon. Fuel prices are set to rise next week. All dairy farm court cases were postponed, and our biggest loss was Freddy Janwale. She passed on earlier this week. This woman really deserves the title of giant. Thank you for fighting for women in our country, ma'am. The struggle continues. A luta continua. That's it. I'm out of words. Enjoy the heat wave that, according to the weatherman, and he insists it's not a heat wave, I'm going to jump on a boat and leave these troubles on the surface. Life is so much better under the sea. I'm Tonya Curry, and you've really scratched the media surface with me today. Thank you.